everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Blanca, and today is
Wicked Wine Wednesdays, where we talk about true crime and sample wines.
Today we'll be discussing the cold case of Joe Gosinski.
So if you like wine and true crime, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Before we dive in, I just want to remind you guys that us talking about the wines that we tried will come at the end of the video, so if you're interested in that, please stay tuned until then. I also want to put a reminder out there that we will be posting every other Wednesday, and yeah, stay tuned. So today we're going to be focusing on a kind of Christmassy case. It was the murder happened on December 23rd. He was found Christmas Eve, early morning. So kind of Christmas, but yeah. We're getting to as close to Christmas as we can with this case, and it's pretty gruesome because it's still unsolved to this day. 10 years later, almost 10 years later, it's still unsolved. So we're taking it back to Michigan again, like we did with our last case with Donna and Ramsey, which, funny enough, is my hometown. So Joe Gosinski, he was an all-American man. He loved working on cars. That was his passion. And his sister says before he was working with cars, he was working with bikes, like lawnmowers, everything like that. He basically just enjoyed mechanics. That's what he wanted to do in life. He quickly joined the army and he got promoted to sergeant, and he fought in the Persian Gulf. So he's kind of a badass. And then when he came back, he moved to Southern California, where he ended up opening an auto body shop for, sorry if you guys hear background noise of a toddler. He ended up opening a shop strictly for Ford Mustangs. He did work with other cars, but he turned his passion towards Ford Mustangs. That's what he was good at working on, and that's what he wanted to take his life path on, is Ford Mustangs. Everybody talks about Joe being a great guy, that he's the type of person to give you his shirt off his back, and if he had something that he thought you wanted and liked, he would give it to you, whether it be a car or a shirt on his back. If he felt like you wanted it or needed it, he would give it to you.
Eventually, Joe Gosinski got so good at fixing Mustangs that Hollywood came a-knocking. He ended up getting on the show called Overhaulin', which his friend John Schultz, pretty much was like, dude, you have to do this show. Backed it all the way to him. So he ended up getting on Overhaulin', and even though he was gaining celebrity status, he still remained the same Joe that he was prior to Hollywood even coming. He was still such a humble person. Him and John Schultz would actually do a toy drive every Christmas season. On December 23rd of 2010, John Schultz and Joe Gosinski had a phone call. Basically, they were debating on whether they wanted to take the toys to the toy drive right away, or if they were going to drop it off at Joe's house and Joe would take it to the toy drive so he wouldn't have to worry about it. John states that they pretty much bantered back and forth on the phone like they always do. Then they hung up, and that was the last time that anybody had heard from Joe.
Gosinski's longtime live-in girlfriend, Rachel Galera, had spoke to Gosinski around 7 p.m., she says, and she was expecting him to come home, and he never made it. So she said after not hearing from him for a while, she decided around midnight that she was going to go down to the shop that he owned and see where he was, what he was doing. She also took her daughter with her. It wasn't their daughter, it was her daughter, but he loved her daughter like it was his own. And when she got to the shop, she said that there was blood all over the walls. That's what she told Joe's sister. She called the police after she saw the gruesome, bloody scene at the shop. It turns out that Joe had been shot and his skull had been beaten repeatedly with his own wrench inside of the shop. It was a pretty gruesome scene. He was bludgeoned and shot, and they said that it seemed like he had been shot from the side. And the police quickly started their investigation.
When police officers arrived on scene, they originally kind of thought that this would maybe be related to like a robbery. Unfortunately, looking through the shop, it didn't seem like anything had been stolen, which kind of then turned their investigation towards, I guess, another point of view. At this point, because of the way that he was beaten and shot and just the entire crime scene that they found, they started looking at it as more of a crime of passion. After that, though, we did find out through friends, family, that Joe Gosinski had a private office upstairs from the garage where he kept a safe. In the safe, he would always keep a ton of cash in there because his friends would always say if he found a good deal on a car or just something that he really wanted where he needed the cash right away, he would go and have it in his safe where it's accessible. Now, that is the only thing that is missing from the shop was the safe, which kind of does coincide with everybody's possible robbery theory, but over the fact of how he died and was beaten, everyone's not so sure about it. At this point, officers really have no lead. They truly have no idea as, I guess, no suspects, no leads.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to ask his family, like, who could possibly, hate him or have this motive to do this to him. They can't come up with anybody because, of course, the way that they see Joe is that he's this great guy who will do anything for anyone, especially for children, because he loved children so much.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone then starts to point the finger at Rachel Galera. At this point, we start finding out how bad Rachel and Joe's relationship was, to the point where we found out that, I think it was even stated that Joe was wanting to leave Rachel but was staying with her because of her daughter, because of how much he loved her and wanted her to have stability.
Yeah.
But that he had kicked out Rachel before and was actually in the process of leaving her again, which would then kind of coincide with everybody's crime of passion theory there.
Yeah. And on top of that, I guess when he had kicked Rachel out before, she got back in by using her daughter and saying that they have nowhere to go and just putting all of that out there and telling him that he can't kick her out because then her daughter will have nowhere to go. So that's how he ended up letting her back in. And I guess his family and friends say that she was not a nice person, that she was violent. On one occasion, they had an argument and Joe had decided that he was going to go to bed, and on his way to bed, I guess she had jumped on his back and just started hitting him, and they realized that she wasn't a good person, and that's why they started pointing the finger at her, because they think that if he was planning to leave her, she wasn't trying to let that happen. And they also later found texts from her the day before of them being in a fight and her going off on him F you, F this, sending him very angry messages. And it kind of doesn't paint her in the best light. And one of his friends say, looking back on it, she never asked them who do they think did it. She never asked them are there any leads, or has anybody found anything? Nothing. Everything was very materialistic. She started saying how
Joe wanted her to have this.
Yeah,
Joe wanted my daughter to have this.
Yeah, she said that Joe wanted her to have the BMW, that Joe wanted her daughter to have the, what was it, 750 horsepower Mustang or something?
Some type, I think it was a Mustang, but it was a really high-end one that was super nice,
and,
decked out, and
his friend was like, nobody's gonna put a child in a 750 horsepower Mustang. And So everything just turned down on like what Joe wanted them to have, materialistic wise. And on top of that, I guess they had asked her to take a polygraph and she had denied it. And then she later on agreed to take it. And then, like, the day that the polygraph came up, she didn't show up. And it was the same thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was the same thing with the True Crime Daily. They reached out to her to do a not investigation, what is it called?
It was an interview.
An interview. Yeah,
and
they
she
reached
said
out.
yes.
Yeah, she said yeah, and then she
was like
last minute like backed
bailed
out.
out again.
Yeah, so it was the same thing with the lie detector tests and the true crime. And you know, maybe she didn't do it, but it just seems like things are a little off. And my biggest thing is, I think, again, in my opinion, don't come for me. Just what I think, in theory. I think that she had talked to him around 7 p.m., which I'm not sure how old her daughter was. They didn't state it. But
No.
if you have kids or anything, you know that they usually go to bed around 7 or 8. So
9 at the latest.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that she talked to him around 7. Her daughter ended up going to bed, and while she was sleeping, she probably left the house and killed him. Again, in my opinion, I don't know. I think that she went when her daughter was sleeping and went and killed him, and then went back home and
woke up her daughter.
Yeah, woke up her daughter and used her daughter as a way of an alibi, almost as if, oh, look, I was with my daughter. Like, I even had to bring her with me around midnight because I don't leave her alone. But, like, I don't know. If you're determined to do something, you might leave your child at home.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion. So, I don't know. They say that they're still investigating, and
she hasn't been named a person of interest, a suspect, because she's been so cooperative with the police other than the polygraph.
Yeah, like really, that's so cooperative.
Haven't, like, I feel like they said that they've done their investigation into her. I'm sure that they have. But I guess it's just like they haven't found anything to pin to her.
Yeah. I guess.
But I think she's guilty as hell. Only because I have to say, like, if my husband weren't coming home and, like, I go to his shop and I find him dead, like, I'd have 1,000,001 questions. Like, I'd be distraught as hell. I'd be like, who the hell did this? Mm-hmm. I'd be wanting answers for everything. Mm-hmm. I'd be entirely cooperative with the police, like, especially if they asked me to take a polygraph test and I wasn't hiding anything because I wanted to know what happened to my husband.
Yeah, I'd be like, hell yeah, put it on me.
I'd be like, yes, let's do this. Like, I will do whatever you need me to do to prove that I'm not the person because I want to find who did this.
Yeah.
And the fact that everybody has said that she doesn't bother to care, like, who did this? Why did this happen to Joe? Like, mm-hmm. Are we ever gonna find them? Like,
it's just it paints her in the guilty light.
And then it's just to only worry about the materialistic things.
Yeah,
like,
who does that? And
no,
the police say they had put out a statement with True Crime Daily, Torrance police had stated that they're going to keep fighting until they find who did this, and they're going to keep investigating, and they want the person that's out there that killed him to know that they will catch them, and hopefully that day comes. I would love for his family to have some peace. I mean, obviously, nothing's going to bring your son back, but to be able to have the justice they deserve would be really great. Torrance police also urges anybody to call if they have any information, and the number is 310-618-5570, and that is for the detective division. So if anybody has any information, give them a call and let them know.
Maybe you saw something 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
who knows?
If you remember, try giving them a call.
Yeah, I mean, even if somebody's, like, told you something recently,
I'm just curious, like, were there not any, like, security cameras? Like,
I guess not.
I don't know. It's just crazy to me that, like, have they not looked at any DNA evidence? Like, was there none? Unfortunately, there's not too much on the case in
there's
regards
not too
to
many
that,
answers.
which is something that we do look for every time we do search our cases.
Okay, now to end this video on a more positive note. We're going to be talking about the wines we tried, and let's see. So, the wine that I tried is from, it's called Columbia Winery. Is it focusing?
Yeah.
It's called Columbia Winery, and I thought this was kind of cool and like spooky and foggy. Yeah. But it's from Washington.
Not California.
Not California this time. It's bold, tannic, more on the dry side than the sweet side. It's more acidic than soft. Oh, it is Cabernet.
Shocker again, everybody.
I need to branch out. I just love Cabernets. I hit her late. It has the oak, vanilla, chocolate, blackberries, dark fruits, and cocoa. Oh, earthy notes. It says cocoa and leather.
I don't know if I got leather from all that.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
I'm like, what does that mean? Like, do you put like leather in the barrel and like it?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
But it pairs well with beef, lamb, deer, venison, poultry. Are deer and venison the same thing?
I think so, aren't they? That's what I thought venison was. I thought it was deer.
Maybe they're like different aged deers. But yeah, overall I think it's a pretty good wine.
I tried it. The earthy, I definitely can see that.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know when you drink something and it gives you the chills?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it does, which is great. But we also got these little cute little, well, they're not really charcuteries, but little meat and cheese trays. So if you see
I'm
us
like, wait,
eating
I was like, where's the lettuce? I'm opening it over here.
they're pretty good.
All right. Let me see. Okay. So the wine that I tried today, and I spilled a little bit of wine on it, guys, so just gonna go with it. Let's pretend it's pretty. It's a Z. Alexander Brown. It's called Uncaged, and it's a Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. We liked it because it said uncaged, and we were like, uncaged, unchained darkness. So
yeah,
we were like, hey. But it's definitely kind of maybe a little bit on the bolder side versus lighter side. Definitely more smoother. It says dry, but personally, I thought it was a little bit sweet.
Yeah.
Not too dry, but it's on the drier end of the scale, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It is more acidic versus soft. Truly, I honestly thought I accidentally grabbed her drink by accident because it definitely has a Cabernet taste to it.
Which is the oak, look at.
Yeah, it's got some oak, vanilla.
And the leather.
And leather, earthy, and smoke.
Yeah. I tried hers too, and I was like, wait, is that my glass? Because it tastes very cabby.
It does, but it wasn't terrible. And then it also has some cherry, strawberry, red fruits, all of that fun stuff. And then it pairs very well with beef, veal, venison, poultry. So basically, great dinner wine right here.
But we decided to pair it with some meat and cheese, because why not, you know?
I mean, hey, meat and cheese is always the best.
So, happy holidays, everybody. Hope you have a good one, safe one. COVID's out there, so stay safe.
Make sure you wear your masks if you're going to gather.
Yes.
Stay apart. Try no hugging.
Yes.
Do a little elbow touch if you got to.
Yes. Stay safe for the holidays. Don't want any more people out there getting sick.
Remember, as much as you miss your elderly folks, maybe drop off the gifts at their door this year. Try avoiding as much as you can.
Them. Yeah. Yeah.
It sucks, definitely, but, you know.
Happy COVID holidays. You know?
For real.
What are we going to do?
I mean, we're almost done with 2020, guys. I don't know how 21's going to go, though.
Yeah, it's funny because everybody's like, oh, I can't wait for 2020 to be over. Like, what? It's just
I know that meme when it was like, I love how we all just magically think that
Yeah,
like this COVID and everything's gonna be over as soon
I
as
love
like
that
this.
for us.
As soon as the clock strikes midnight,
Yeah, like
it's gone.
all of a sudden, like our year is gonna get 10 times
Oh my
better.
god. Have you seen the new Match commercial that they sent out, like Match.com?
No.
So they have it and it's like Satan and he's all like, it's like him in hell and it's like, oh, 11 months ago and he got like a match. And then he like meets her and he's like, and she's like, Satan? And he's like, 2020. And she's like, call me 2020. And then it's like the Love Story by Taylor Swift or whatever I think it is. And then they're all like playing and dancing, like feeding each other. They're like at the gym and everything's empty.
Oh
They're
my
like
God.
in a stadium, like having a picnic, like nobody's around. And then at the end of it, they're like doing an interview and she's like, yeah, she's like, I've dated like, you know, tons of evil guys. He's just famous. And then he's like, yeah, you know, I've dated other years. He's like, but there was just nothing soul crushing about them. Honestly, it is hilarious if you need a good laugh.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I have to see that. That's a great commercial.
Right? I was like, whoever came up with this, they deserve an award.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you everybody for watching, and we can't wait to see you next Wednesday. Happy holidays!
I'll talk about her.
I'm just
How
trying
he
to get
was-
like some of the prosciutto. Why is this gotta be
prosciutto? Prosciutto.
whatever? Go with it. Just say yes.
I love how this is all recorded.
I know it.
Go ahead.
No,
Did I get it?
No. I felt like right here. You're like, I got it. I was like, no, you didn't.
Stupid. I'm like, let me make sure I have no boogers hanging out after messing with my nose ring. Where's my phone? Oh my god.
Why can't I remember our intro right now?
Everybody, welcome. What is our intro? Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. I'm Taylor. This is, and then you're like, I'm Blanca,
and today is
it's Wicked Wine Wednesday.
Thank
you, Oh. Okay.
Thank you everybody for watching, and we can't wait to see you.
What is happening?
Alright. Thank you everybody for watching.